Hello guys and welcome to this video tutorial. As some of you asked me last week how to 3D model gears, how to make 2D drawings out of a 3D model, I'll be covering that during this tutorial. So if we open Autocad, the first thing that I will do, I will draw a circle. So we'll go from here, maybe. I will give it a diameter instead of a radius. So I'm going to type in D, press enter. So my diameter is going to be 41 mil. Enter. Now, I've just created another layer called construction lines, which I will use right now. Just so you know, I have selected I've changed the line type, switched it to ISO dash. Okay, so I'm going to draw another circle from the center. I'm going to give another diameter, so D, enter, and the diameter is going to be 45.5. So this diameter extends up to the addendum. I'm going to draw another circle, again from the center, but this one is going to be, I'll also enter a diameter, of course, so D, enter, and it's going to be 50. Okay, so you can see these dashed lines are looking still a little bit too big. So normally you can just highlight them, right click, go on properties, still loading, and change the line type scale here. However, in this case, I will simply scale all the lines in my drawing using the LT scale command. So LT scale, enter. So we're going to make the 0.1. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that seems reasonable. So now I'm going to draw a line. I will draw my line from the top quadrant. So from this quadrant, maybe down to here. Doesn't really matter because we will be trimming them after. Although I'm going to use a normal line and not a construction line, because I want a continuous line. So now what I will do, I will offset this line. So I'm going to use the offset command. So my distance will be, I'll type D. Oops, no, I'll type my distance directly. So it will be 0.85. Enter. Now select my line, offset it to this side. Perfect. Now I'll start the offset command again. However, this time the distance will be 1.6. Actually, I'll make it 1.7. Enter. From this line, from our central line, I will offset it, and I'll use the offset command again, but this time it will be 2.1. There we go. So that's all I wanted now. Just these lines to use them as a reference. So I'll now use the trim command. And now I'm going to trim all of these lines here. Perfect. It will also be worth trimming this bit sticking out. Okay, so now I can proceed to draw one of the teeth. So instead of using a straight line, I'm going to use an arc. So the type of arc that I'm going to use will be start and radius. So this will be my start. This will be my end. It's a bit hard to visualize. So that will be my center. There we go. Didn't do it quite right. I'll switch layers, of course. That's something that I forgot to do. I will actually use center, start, end. So this will be the center of my radius. Then this will be my start, and this will be my end. As you can see, it's taking the wrong side of the radius. So I'm going to hold Control and move it up and down. So it swaps it. And now while holding Control, I'm going to click on the endpoint. So it is important that you don't release it. There we go. So now I have my arc. Straight line would have probably done, but I wanted to do things correctly, because then once you mirror it to the other side, you would have a sharp corner in the middle. So we have the top of the tooth. Now we can proceed to draw the rest of it. So I'm going to use just a simple 3-point arc. So it's going to go from the top to this line where it intersects, and down to this endpoint. I'm going to zoom in because I want to make sure that it intersects with the circle. Which I believe it did. Yep. Okay, so what we'll do, I will move these lines to my construction layer. and I will turn it off. There we go. So I have half a tooth here. Now what I will do, I will use the mirror command and mirror it against the center. So I'm going to turn my ortho mode on. And I'm going to click on no. I don't want to erase source objects. Okay, so we have one of the teeth here already. What I will do now, I will select this geometry and use the join command in order to join them. So join. Now I'm going to use a command which is very handy. It's called array polar. Array polar. So type it in, press enter. So now this is the object that I want to pattern around my circle. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to press enter now. Now it's asking me to specify the center point of the array. So it's going to be this center. And now this panel will turn up. So I want in total 23 of them. Now if I click on the next row, it will load them. So that's exactly what I was after. That seems fine. So I'm going to click on close array. So now that my array is done, I obviously need to trim this parts of this circle in order to be able to extrude all of it at once. There's one issue. I don't know if you have realized, but when I highlight any of the teeth, they're all selected, and if I click on them, they're part of the array. So it won't let me trim it easy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select it and use the explode command to explode the array. So now they're all independent. And now I can highlight all of this, start the trim command, and I can trim this bit off. Okay, so that's all trimmed now. The next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to join them all together. So I'm going to use the join command. Type join, enter. There we go. So I've got my gear now, and I can start 3D modeling only from this sketch. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy and paste it. So I'm going to use the copy command. I'm going to paste it maybe somewhere like here. I'm going to paste a few and I'll show you why. You will see that in a second. Maybe here. Maybe here. Maybe here. So I'm going to go isometric. I'm going to go on to 3D modeling now. Okay. And now I'm going to use the extrude command. So I'm going to select my gear, press enter. Now I'm going to extrude it out by 20 mil. So 20, enter. Going to change my view style so I can see everything a bit better. You can use conceptual or realistic. So here's my gear. I'm going to go back to my top view. I am going to use the copy command again. And I'm going to copy this gear from the center and paste it. Going to turn off my ortho mode. So now I just got my gears in place. Probably will need a little bit more spacing. Going to turn on my ortho mode again. So that's it, it's looking a bit better. Okay, so the reason why I copied and pasted the same gear drawing here is because now we can use it to create different types of gears. So I'm going to start by drawing a line right from the center, and I'm going to make it 20. You will see why in a minute. Okay, and now instead of using the extrude command, I'm going to use the sweep command. So I'm going to type SW sweep. You can also find it under extrude. That's sweep. Now I'm going to select my gear, press enter. Now I'm going to give it a twist. So I'm going to click on twist. I'm going to give it 45 degrees. I'm going to type in 45, press enter, and now I'm going to select my sweep path. There we go. So I've got one helical gear here now. Now I'm going to select it. I'm going to use the mirror command. I'm going to type in mirror, and now I'm going to draw a line here. The reason why I mirrored it instead of copying it is because the teeth of the other one will need to be an angle of -45. So if you mirror it, you get it a lot easier. I'm going to look at my gears from the bottom rather than from the top. so I can find the center of the gear quicker than from the top. I'm going to use a move command. I'm going to select my gear, press enter. For my center, I'm going to move it on place. It's probably about there. I'm going to select it, use 2D rotate, select the center. I'm going to turn on my ortho mode. And I'm going to set my gear. So that's it. 2 helical gears already modeled and engaging. The next type of gears, and I'll show you how to model bevel gears. So it's a bit similar. I'm going to draw a line here from the center, going up. Going to turn my ortho mode on just to make sure that my line is goes up in the set direction, and I'll make it 10 mil. 10 mil, enter. Okay. So now I'm going to use the sweep command again. I'll select my gear, press enter. Now, where it says scale, you can either type S and press enter, or you can click here where it says scale. So I'm going to type S and press enter. My scale factor is going to be 0.5. So that means that this gear will taper along this path, and now I'm going to select my path. There we go. So this is what you get. So I'm going to draw a couple of circles. From the center, of course. I will turn my midpoint on. So one of them will go up to here. And then I will draw another circle. Up to here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to extrude both circles. So this one and this one. Selecting all of it. If I hold shift, then I can deselect the gear. There we go. selected the circle. There we go. So now I've got both of them selected. Now I'm going to use the extrude command, ext, enter. Okay, so here where it says taper angle, I'm going to give a taper angle of -45. Enter. And I'm going to extrude it up. Doesn't matter the height, as long as it goes above the gear, something like that. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to subtract one from another. So I'm going to use the subtract command that you will find over here. So I'm going to select, I want to keep this one, so I'll select it, enter, and I want to remove this one. So I'll select it, press enter. Okay, so there we go. This is exactly what I was after. So I'll use the subtract command again. I want to keep my gear, and I want to subtract everything else around it. There we go. So it is important that we do this, so when we offset the other bevel here at 90 degrees, the corners won't interfere because we trim them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste again. It's quite hard to find the center. That's because we're looking at it from the top, whereas our sketch is at the bottom, so it will be easier to select it from here. As you can see, there we go, we just found it. Now we can go back to our top view. I'm going to turn on my ortho mode, and then I'll just place it here. Okay. So I'll use rotate again, select my gear. I will select my center again. There we go. And rotate it in a way that the teeth match. Okay, so next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to rotate this gear using 3D rotate. I'll turn on my ortho mode. There we go, and I'll turn it 90 degrees. Now I'm going to use the move command. I'm going to select this gear, press enter, and I'm going to move it going to turn on my endpoint. from this endpoint to this midpoint. And now maybe I should offset it a little bit. So I'll use the move command. Move it in this direction and then give it 3 mil. There we go. So that's how you actually model bevel gears. What I can do with this one, I can do the same. I'll just draw a line from the center. It's going to go up by, give it 10 mil again. I'll use sweep again. I'm going to select my gear, press enter. Scale 0.5, enter. Let's give it a twist so we can do a helical bevel gear. Twist 45, enter. And now let's select the path. It's still loading. There we go. Now if we do the same again, draw a circle. From the bottom. Draw another circle. Now we can use extrude again. EXT. I'm going to select this circle. Now they're both selected. In order to deselect the gear, I'll hold shift and left click. There we go. Enter. Taper angle, so that's T. Enter. Minus 45 degrees. Enter. Up to here. Solid subtract. Select objects, enter. Select my second object, enter. Now subtract the taper extrusion from my gear. So select gear, enter. Select the extrusion, enter. There we go. That one is now done. And now just the same procedure. So, well, in this case we can't copy and paste because the angles have to be opposite. So have to be minus 45. So I'm going to say mirror. I'm going to select my gear, enter. And now I'm going to draw my mirror line around here. So like this, the move command again. Now 2D rotate. Ortho mode off. .3D rotate. Ortho mode on. 90 degrees, and scaled it instead of rotating it. And now we can move it from here to here. Now again, let's give it an offset of 2 or 3 mil. I'll pull it in this direction, 3, enter. Engaging. Again, when you design your gear, you will probably know what's your required center distance. I'm only doing this tutorial just to show you how you 3D model them. Okay, so as you can see, this is how we model different types of gears in Autocad. Normally softwares like Autodesk Inventor have design accelerators that are fully parametric, so that means you type in your diameters, your number of teeth, and it just loads the model for you. Okay, so the next step, how you get 2D drawings out of this. Because I know that it can be way too complicated to get all of these lines in a 2D drawing by projecting all of these gears. So that's why AutoCAD has quite a helpful tool. So I will show you right now. I'm going to select, for instance, this view. And now I'll use the command flat shot. So type flat shot, enter. Then it will ask you if you want to insert it as no block, say yes. And then here where it says obscured lines, I will deselect it. So otherwise it would be way too much detail and all the lines would be overlapping. Unfortunately, it doesn't let you to select a base point for the flat shot. So now I'm going to click on create. Now it's asking me where I want to to insert my, so I'll say 0, so it's x0 from the insertion point, and in the y direction I'll give it 100 mil. No scale factor, so the default one, enter, enter. Zero degrees. There we go. So I've just got 2D drawings of my gears. As simple as that. And now if I go from the top and say, okay, flat shot, create, it's loading it. So again, I'll say my insertion point from this base point, which will always be your origin. So I'll say is 0, comma, and I'll make it 200 in the y direction, enter. Scale factor 1, use X scale factor, and no rotation. So that's it, that's how you actually get 2D drawings out of a 3D model.